Hi, good morning, sisters. I know we're running a little bit behind 10 a.m., but again, Wi-Fi problems here in the jungles of Costa Rica. But really excited to be here this morning. And I have a very dear friend of mine and a sister who, since I've moved to Costa Rica, has been next to my side. And we've both evolved into all this beauty and teachings that we're offering now. And in a moment, I'll introduce her. But for those of you who are watching for the first time, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Tish. I'm a holistic healing practitioner, yoga teacher, retreat leader, and womb healer. My passion is really to help women understand their cyclical flow by teaching them how to live in sync with their cycle. So from nutrition to lifestyle to spiritual practices and movement. And I've created this platform to bring together women that can really facilitate and share some of the knowledge that I feel should be available to all of us. And also just to teach you and share with you some coming up, like today's, which is a call. So welcome if it's your first time listening. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them to in the feed, and we'll get back to those. But let's start off by bringing Nicole in. Hi, Nicole. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh, so excited. This is actually your second time on here because the first time we had Wi-Fi issues as well. So thank you. You're back now in the States. Baby, would you like to just introduce yourself a little and share with our listeners where you're from and what you do?
Sure. Yeah. So, hi, everyone. Lovely to meet all of you women. My name is Nicole Gayatri. I am originally from New York and have been a teacher there of both dance and yoga for many, many, many years. And about 5 years ago, I moved down to Costa Rica to follow my heart and my passion, which is to find and help people to live true healing in their lives. In New York, I have a company called The Perfect Space. And then I also started that company in Costa Rica as well, which is a lifestyle design company. So helping people to find and live their true passions. And then in Costa Rica, I do a lot of consulting for hotels and retreat centers. And a couple of years ago, I created this practice called Yonisice. And I'm super excited to be sharing the information about this practice with you. It's a healing movement modality. And other than that, I'm just here to help women really figure out their passion and find their healing so that they can just live as their most divine selves.
Amazing. So, I mean, let's just go straight into it. Maybe share with us what is Yonisice? Yonisice.
Yonisice. So Yonisice is the name of two words. Yoni, Y-O-N-I, being the womb space of the body. So in different cultures, the exact word means different things, but it generally refers to womb. And in the practice, we're talking about both your uterus, all of your sexual organs, fallopian tubes, ovaries, the vagina itself, the canal and everything, clitoris, labia, as well as your pelvic floor, super important part, muscular part of the body that is within this womb space. And then all of the abdominal muscles that are surrounding your womb as well. And another big part is that it's the first and second energy centers, chakras of the body. And this is important because we're talking about womb healing, and we can't fully heal the womb without addressing these two chakra centers. And so your root chakra, the first chakra, governs the sense of rootedness, groundedness, security, stability, and support in your life. So feeling that you have all of those things. And when that is out of balance, obviously, energetically, emotionally, we can feel really out of balance in life. And then the second energy center is your second chakra, is referring and governing your sense of creativity and actual creation, as well as your emotions, holding any past traumas are held, that energy is held in that space of the body as well. And so we want to make sure that both of these energy centers are clear of any blockages, and that you're able to really fulfill all of the aspects of those centers. And that's part of the practice as well. So the second half of the word comes from the word exercise. Yonisize is exercise, not the actual size of your yoni, but but to use it as a way, a movement modality and a way of healing. And so we're using this practice to learn how to use the muscles around the womb and within the vagina to draw up the energy within the body and to release old energies and release old stories that have been held there. So as I mentioned earlier, it's a space where we kind of hold on to things, and a lot of times held there. We want to these muscles and strengthen these muscles, release those old stories. It's also a space where we hold on to not just the traumas from our own life, but maybe from our past lives and also that of our ancestors before us. I've heard you talk at some of your interviews before with other women about how, when you are just a small egg inside of your mother's womb, your body, your energy is already there. And then the same thing for her when she was in your grandmother and within the great grandmother. So the lineage is coming down, all held in our womb. So we want to help the one now here in this time and space to release those old energies, to release those old stories, and to heal the traumas that have come through within the lineage as well. So that's Yonisize.
Ah, amazing. And so where did Yonisize come from? Like, how did this all start?
So it actually started because I was on my own journey of healing. A few years back, I decided to do 13 womb cycles of a healing practice where I dedicated myself for that full year towards just really focusing on my body and on my practices and how I could truly heal my body and release those residual energies that I could tell were there. I just could feel that there was, here I was in the prime of my life. I was living in Costa Rica. I was living my dream life, literally everything I had dreamed about for the past 10 years and before that even. And there still just felt like there was something that was holding me back within myself. So I started doing this daily practice, and I found that I was repeating the same sort of movement over and over again on almost every night. And sometimes I would be journaling, sometimes I would be moving, and I'd just be writing and free writing and just letting this all out of myself. And I found a lot of times that I would be kind of almost like writhing on the floor. I remember thinking to myself, if someone were watching me, they'd be like, what is she doing? But I started to recognize that this was what my body needed, this healing, this gyration in a way, this circular, sensual movement. It wasn't for anyone else. It was for my own healing, and it was helping me to, like Kundalini and yoga, to draw those energies up within myself, to fill up my own cup and to heal my own body. So I began to, like I said, do journaling and doing all these things, and it was a year-long practice, a little bit over a year of 13 womb cycles. And I had been given some books during the practice about other modalities of womb healing. And I remember that I was reading them and thinking, gosh, this seems so familiar, almost as if I may have written it myself. And I went back into my journals, and sure enough, I had written all of these things that these doctors were writing about when it came to wound healing. So it was kind of this validation for myself that, wow, this practice that I've been downloading over this year has actual scientific and biological backing. Like it's really what we need. It's not just something that I've been thinking, oh my gosh, every woman needs this, and how important is this to share with women. And so I just decided, like, wow, I really need to offer this. So I boiled it down into a series of 3 different sections. I teach those sections now as Yonisize. Yeah. And that's where the practice came from.
You there?
Yeah. Can you see me or hear me?
Nicole, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. We're back again. I got cut off. So I'm not sure where did you leave off. So just share with me where you at.
Share about where Yonisice came from again, or?
Yeah. No. So we actually did get that. I just
Okay.
wasn't sure where I got cut off. So, but let's just move on to maybe explaining to the women, why do women actually need to practice this practice, Yonisice?
Sure. So, as I mentioned earlier, there's this belief among many people that we are carrying these energies from our lineage. And so, if we're carrying the traumas, whether they be mental, emotional, or physical or sexual traumas from other women that came before us in our lineage, then we are holding that energy within our body. And then, we come into this world and we deal with all of the things that have happened to us in this lifetime. And that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff, probably, for many women, especially just in our society. We're taught to sort of be ashamed of our menstrual cycle. There's, rarely are we taught to talk about those things as young women, as young girls growing up. This part of our body is so taboo, and sexuality is pretty taboo. I mean, thank goodness nowadays it is starting to open up more, and there are becoming more conversations in the mainstream about it. But generally, and especially when I was growing up, I would say that, this was very repressed. You didn't talk about it. You didn't talk about even sensuality and the difference between sensuality and sexuality. And so there's this sort of fear and guilt and shame around this area of our body, when really this is the portal of all life. This is the portal of all creation, creativity. We should be worshiping this part of ourselves. We should be singing our praises and gratitude for this part of our body. So grateful that we are women, that we have this ability to bring these things to life. And so, is enough of a reason to need the practice, that many women are still stuck and being so repressed, of having all of these old stories. And inside of that space is sort of like and in that, it's the Rubik's Cube when it's all jumbled, and there's different colors on every side, and maybe even there's parts sticking out and it's not even in the cube shape. But as we use this practice, as we learn to use the muscles within the body, and using this movement and drawing that energy up, we start to shift those sides and shift those colors until we get that Rubik's Cube back into that perfect cube shape with the colors on all the sides. So we have this beautiful faceted gem within us that is able to use its full potentiality and power. And it's magic. I mean, my gosh, this magical part of our being. It's something that should be worshipped, right? And so yeah, I would say that it's something that all women need, and especially too with the sedentary lifestyles that we tend to be living these days, where we're sitting all the time. We're not necessarily using these muscles. We're not taught ever to use these muscles or how to use these muscles. So it's really important to keep them strong. And for women who've gone through pregnancy and gone through childbirth, as I recently have myself, actually, my son is now 4.5 months old. And I will say I had my active labor was less than an hour long. Before that, I was really just using my Yonisize practice and visualizing opening up through my canal and my cervix area, and it worked. I had that baby so fast. He came out within 3 pushes. I had almost 0 labor pains leading up to that point. My birth story is sort of just a ridiculous movie, really. And the healing afterwards, I had 0 tearing. I had 0 trauma to my body after birth, after my labor. And I actually am in better than I was before I was pregnant, because I was practicing Yonisize throughout my entire pregnancy. So my yoni and vagina are super strong and not crazy stretched out because of the practice that I was doing. So for women who've had babies, I hear it all the time. Oh my gosh, I had this child who's 12-pound baby that her head was huge, and I feel so different now. And how do I get my body back? Well, this is a great way to do that. And then for women who are also getting older, you know, as we get older, things just sort of become more atrophied from less use. And so for women who are dealing with prolapse, whether it be bladder or uterine prolapse, this is a great way to pull those muscles back and lift those things back up and keep everything where it's supposed to be.
You know, I'm definitely blown away by how this Yonisice practice can actually facilitate, you know, in all of the ways of giving birth and tightening up the yoni, and you know, just also strengthening the lower abdominal so that we can have better suction and for better sex. So I love it, and I practiced it before. I know it works, so I love it. Let's talk a little bit about who can practice Yonisice.
Well, the great thing about this practice earlier that it's art series. So any woman really, and even young girls can be practicing this. And I think it's important for young girls to be practicing this as well. So any woman, I would say maybe starting at age maybe 7, 8, when you're, you know, nowadays women or young girls tend to be getting their menstrual cycle much earlier than in years past or in decades past. So so it's like talking to them about this area of their body now and letting them know how important it is to be connected to it and to not feel ashamed by it. And I haven't mentioned it yet, but a lot of during the practice, we do suggest that you can use a yoni egg. We'll talk more about that in a little while, I think. So for young girls, I wouldn't suggest that. I would not suggest starting to use the egg until you are actually maybe sexually active or maybe before that, but like at that age where that would be okay. For the young girls, though, to be learning about this area of their body and using this area to heal and to feel empowered and to release any ideas of feeling guilty or ashamed about that. And then, once you're in your 20s and 30s, it's a great way to keep it strong and to learn how to use it. You mentioned that it can be a great way to enhance your sexual experiences. It's not necessarily having to do anything with that, but let me tell you, once you know how to use this area of your body, you'll experience all new ways to use it with your partner as well. And and then as you age even more, like I said, for pregnancy, for childbirth, through labor and healing postpartum. And then if that's not something that you want in your life at all, that's fine. But continuing to age in the 60s when you're going through is a great way to keep strong and to still be working body instead of sensible of women who came to me during the during the period of time when they were going through menopause. And they said that Yonisize really helped them. And as the hormone levels were dropping energetically, they were sort of replacing that with different levels of serotonin and just this gratitude and appreciation for this part of their body. And then after you finish menopause, to just, again, keep worshiping and keep strengthening. It's a center of creativity. It doesn't necessarily have to be about creating life and birth of human life, but creating life in other ways. And so staying focused on passion and purpose and on your worshiping yourself and just loving every single cell of your body coming from this beautiful center.
Oh, beautiful. I love that. I wanted us to talk a little bit about yoni eggs and why we should use them, and just what is your general take on them?
Yeah. So during that year that I was doing my personal practice and creating Yonisize as well, I was practicing with a yoni egg, and really I just think that they are amazing. The yoni egg itself, in case anyone watching isn't sure what that is, it's either a crystal or a precious gemstone that is shaped like an egg. I have several of them here, so my personal collection. They come in different sizes. So this is kind of a medium egg. It's an amethyst egg. And this particular one is also drilled. So it has a hole that goes through the top. And they come drilled and undrilled. So the drilled eggs, you would put a string through it and have it hanging. And then when you tie the knot, so it's there. And then you insert the egg, large side up, small side down, into your vagina. And it goes up inside your vaginal canal. And I talked earlier about the Rubik's Cube and using the muscles. So what happens then is that we have the egg inside of us. And we're using the muscles of our vaginal canal to wrap around this egg. And as we do that, then we have this resistance with these muscles. So you can start to be able to tell whether or not you're actually using them, because a lot of times, like when you say squeeze the muscle or sip the muscle or yawn with the muscle or swirling with the muscle, and you're thinking in your mind that you're doing it, but can you feel yourself doing it? So the egg is a point of resistance to feel that. And some of the other healing modalities for yoni is yoni massage. And when someone actually inserts fingers or into the yoni and massage, so the egg that for us. And it's a great way to be having that safely done and being able to do that on your own, so that you don't have someone else entering that space to facilitate healing, that you're able to facilitate healing on your own. So you can also use the egg undrilled. When you have the drilled egg with its thread, it's really as a backup removal method, or as you get stronger, then you can begin to weight the egg. You can actually hang little weights off of the egg so that you can use that to strengthen. I have several other eggs here. So there's the smaller size here as well, and this one happens to be undrilled. And so it's the same thing. As you get stronger, you can begin to squeeze tighter and tighter, and you'll have still be able to use that for manipulation and strengthening of the muscles, but it's a little bit smaller. So it can be tough to feel this at first when you go with the small size. So you need to get stronger in order to do that. And they come in all different types of stones and gemstones as well. So I mentioned amethyst, and then I held up a rose quartz. I also have a black obsidian and nephrite jade. Jade is very popular as an egg to use, and purple fluorite, carnelian. There's tons and tons of different stones, and each of these precious gemstones and crystals, they hold different energetic properties themselves, and so they're helping you to work on those different energies. So that's another thing that you can bring into the practice, other than just the muscular and working to clear the chakras. These can actually be an aid to help clear the chakras as well. So for instance, the rose quartz that I was holding up earlier, rose quartz is all about unconditional love. So love for self and love for others. If you're having problems in different relationships, or if you're having a lot of self-doubt in your life, rose quartz is a great egg to use during your practice, because it's going to help you connect to that feeling of unconditional love for yourself and for your body. And the magic and beauty of your body. I also help love black obsidian. Black obsidian is an amazing crystal to be using when you're wanting to heal from trauma. Beautiful little baby here. She will help you to out negative energy. It's an egg that you want to be careful in using as well, though it's a very, very powerful stone and crystal. So you're drawing out those negative energies, and just as when you do any sort of detox, that it releases those blockages and they're kind of swirling around. So you want to be careful that you're really using this intentionally. You're fully aware, setting intentions before you use it, meditating before you insert, and then allowing that egg to do its work, taking it out, and then cleansing it in running water, and then also sitting afterwards a meditation to allow the stuff that you brought up to be instead of just letting the eggs and way to energetic energies or energies within your body physically, usually to resistance with practice.
I think we have a little bit of a delay on there, but
and you don't have to use actually when you're practicing. You do the practice.
So we're back. But Nicole, before we end off our discussion today, I would love for you to share a little bit with the sisters where they can find you and how they can work with you.
I'd love to be able to share two websites, Yoni.com, created a little loud, .com, S-E-Com, find in practice. I'll be just gotten my contract to be teaching again this year at Envision Festival in February down in Costa Rica. So I'm super excited to be offering the workshop there. And hopefully we'll be teaching the practice soon here in Greenville, South Carolina, which is where I'm currently living for the next few months with my baby and my partner and some family here. And yeah, I also have a YouTube channel, Nicole Gayatri -- the perfect space. And I will be posting videos there. I think currently there are not any videos due to some technical difficulties that were, they were flagged. And so we'll get some more of them up there very soon. But you can check me out and on NicoleGayatri.com as well. And I will keep you all posted about when more is coming. So if you want to shoot me an email, join my mailing list on Yonisice.com. And you can also email me at theperfectspace@gmail.com. So I do a lot of online coaching as well. And we can do online classes, like one-on-one classes and coaching. And I didn't mention it, but they're in the 3 different series that we do. One is about a meditation practice and practicing with the yoni egg if you'd like to do the healing there. The second practice is the one that most people do, which is called power, which is the actual workout itself. And then the third practice is called work, which is using choreography to sort of bring out that full sensuality and power that you've now brought into your life and putting it to work. W-E-R-K.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I love that little last part because that is where I resonated, where it was like choreography and dancing and just being super sensual within your practice. I really enjoyed that part. So thank you so much, Nicole, for taking the time today and just share your work with us and to teach us a little bit more about Yonisice. I'm super excited for you and blessings on your journey and your time back in the States. And I'll see you soon in Costa Rica.
Yes, thank you. Much love. Bless.
Much love to you. Namaste.
Namaste.